please stand and join me in the pledge? I'd like to have a moment of silence for the following individuals. Christopher Patry, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. Roger White Jr., a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. Alan Hogan, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. Paul Henson Sr., a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. Roger Madison, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. And Patricia Termolo, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District. Thank you. I'd like to start off our presentations this evening with a proclamation. Throughout history, teachers, school nurses, speech therapists, and transportation personnel have had an impact on the district's students and community. They work for the well-being, welfare, and future of our children. This awesome responsibility is accepted with commitment, dedication, and even love. Because of the complexity and diversity of their role, they must be flexible, resourceful, positive, and patient. The teachers, school nurses, speech therapists, and transportation personnel of the North Syracuse Central School District are professionals of the highest caliber who have dedicated themselves to the ideals of their profession. Students, parents, administrators, and community members recognize, applaud, and appreciate their efforts to ensure students receive a quality education. To honor the teachers, school nurses, speech therapists, and transportation personnel of the North Syracuse Central School District and their accomplishments and efforts on behalf of our community's most valuable resource, our children, I'm Michael Marizio, President of the Board of Education of the North Syracuse Central School District. On behalf of the board, I express our deepest gratitude and hereby declare May 5th, 2026 as Teacher Appreciation Day, May 6th, 2026 as School Nurse Appreciation Day, May 7th, 2026 is Transportation Personnel Appreciation Day, and May 8th, 2026 as Speech Therapist Appreciation Day to be celebrated with appropriate educational activities. Do I have a motion for that? Mr. Crabtree, second from Cheryl. All those in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you to everybody. If we have anyone in the audience who's here this evening, we'd love to give you a Okay, next up, we have an esports update. So Catherine, if you'd like to come up. Welcome.
Are we good? Okay, cool. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Catherine Leo. I teach biology at the high school. I'm also head coach of our esports program. Many of you know me. I've been here before doing a spiel like this. Coming around to you is a copy of the information about our playoffs this spring season. So I've had a few people inquire how we're doing, and I wanted to figure this was the easiest way to communicate the information. So for the spring season, we had over 5 grades, so 8 through 12, 43 active students on 17 different teams in 5 different leagues, and we qualified for playoffs in every single league, which was incredible, and I'm very proud of the kids for that. Playoffs are this week. They're mostly, we play them at home, like we sit in our little room and we play our games online and stuff. But if we make it through the first couple of rounds, championships are in person at Syracuse University on May 2nd, which the information is right at the top, near the top. I unfortunately only know day and general time right now. I don't have a specific breakdown of the schedule. We won't know that until we finish out this week of games. But I can say with confidence that at the very least, our Mario Kart team is going to be there. I say that because we've already brought home 3 trophies this year and I want a 4th one. So it's gonna happen. I also say that because we're in second place and we're only behind West Jenny, and we're the only team to have ever successfully beaten West Jenny. We beat them in the fall for the championship, so waiting and hoping for a repeat this year. There's a breakdown of like all of our teams and all the games and all the leagues if you're interested, and how many schools are in there and what places we landed in. I don't want to take up too much time, so I'm not going to read information that you can look at. But I did want to just let you know when that was. It's May 2nd at the Shine Student Center, NSU's campus. They have a wonderful esports program, brand new arenas, brand new play spaces. And it's more than just games. There's tours of the campus. There's tabling for other colleges and university programs and SU programs and scholarships and all these things. The matches are streamed online, so if you can't make it in person, you can watch us on their Twitch channel. And then, of course, we get to come home with trophies and medals and feel all proud of ourselves. So it'll be very, very cool, very fun. And both the junior high and the high school are fighting for a spot to be there. So that's really it. I just wanted to let you know when things were. So do you have any questions for me about stuff? Yeah, of course. Always. Oh yeah, we're running out of room for trophies, so a bigger space would be nice. So, all right, well, thank you all so much, and we hope to see you join us at playoffs.
Thank you. Okay, next I'd like to invite Nick Scholes up for the student recognition for MathCon and Math League.
So this is actually year 4, I believe, that we've been doing this. And this is definitely probably my favorite evening of the entire year. One, because I think it might be our fullest board meeting of the year. If it's not, it definitely rivals it. So thank you so much for coming out. Tonight, we are recognizing both Math League students as well as MathCon students. And to give you kind of a sense of what that is, Math League is a regional competition that we compete against 21 other schools at the middle school level, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And this year, I'm excited to report that we actually tied for first place with our North Syracuse Junior High in the Middle School Math League, 6th through 8th. We also, both Roxborough Road and Gillette Road were in the top 10. Gillette Road was 7th and Roxborough Road was 9th. And so kind of cool that all 3 of our groups were all in the top 10 of 21 different regional schools around the area. So well done to all those students. That's Math League. MathCon is actually an online platform that students get the opportunity to practice some high-level problem-solving skills in their mathematics. And so from 4th grade all the way through 7th grade, students compete in different opportunities throughout the week with their teacher. They work on these problem-solving skills and these high-level math problems. And then in March, they actually compete online against kids from all over the nation. And there is a second round. We haven't quite gotten a kid to the second round yet, although we have some students who are very, very close. Usually it's around the 94th or the 95th percentile in MathCon that they have to achieve. This year we have multiple kids above the 90th percentile. So we're right there. We're really close. Over 400 students in our district actually participated in MathCon. So really kind of a neat opportunity for our students. And I wanted to recognize those students tonight. So we're going to start. And actually, while we're doing this, I wanted to pass around, and Jill is going to pass these around. I wanted to pass around a 4th grade problem on MathCon. Now, fold the paper. I recommend that you fold the paper for our board and don't look at the answer. This actually was provided to me by our 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Andrews, who does our MathCon advising at Bear Road Elementary. I'm sorry. KWS Bear Road Elementary. But just want to give you an idea. While you're talking, you'll probably totally get lost in the math problem and not be able to do it. But yeah. Let's start by recognizing our Math League. So I want to bring up the 5 students, if all of you are here, that won first place that currently attend North Syracuse Junior High. So the first student is Ethan Lingarowski. Ethan also was first place in the entire region, tied for first place in the entire region. He did not miss a problem all year in 5 different events. So well done, Ethan. Also a part of that team is Abilene Baker. If Abilene is here, come on up, Abilene. And I want to bring up Noah McGowan at the same exact time. Noah, come on up. Noah and Abilene were also a part of this team, and they only missed 1 question all year. So, and they're probably kicking themselves because they'd like to be standing where Ethan was. So, and then I'd like to bring up Stephen Pham and Sloan Bauer. So in Math League, there's actually a larger group that compete throughout the year, but Sloan was 3rd place in the region. Stephen was 4th place in the region. So that's how high level these 5 students were. But they also had a whole team that helped them. They just happened to be the top 5 that came out of the junior high. And then they go to the regional competition that this year was held at Chestnut Hill Middle School. So really well done, all 5 of you guys. To round out Math League specifically, I also wanted to recognize, and these are all 8th graders. So we did place one 7th grader and one 6th grader. So Robert Clark from Roxborough Road Middle, if you could come up, if Robert is here. Okay, that's all right. And then Aaliyah first, if Aaliyah is here. Aaliyah is, and wearing her medal. Well done, Aaliyah. Aaliyah took 3rd place in the 6th grade division for Math League. So well done, all of our Math League participants. Great job, guys. You can go ahead and sit down. The next group, I'm going to call in order from the, so this is the top 10 in the whole district. Because we would not be able to fit everyone in this room, it wasn't top 10 specific to grade level. It was top 10 over the course of the entire district. So this goes 4th through 7th grade. But to start, in 10th place in our district was Annabelle Bradstreet. If Annabelle is here, come on up. Next, we have Jonathan White. If Jonathan is here. Annabelle is a 4th grade student at Cicero L. Jonathan White is a 6th grade student at Gillette Road. Jordan Law Jr., if Jordan is here. That's all right. Michael Jacobs is a 5th grade student at Gillette Road. Zoe McKay, a 6th grade student at Gillette Road. Matthew Kogel, a 4th grade student at KWS Bear Road Elementary. Matthew Kogel. And a 4th grade student at Lakeshore Road Elementary, Isaiah Coville. And then our top 3 in 3rd place was Fareed Malikazadi. Is Fareed here? I didn't see Fareed. Okay. In 2nd place is Hannah Guezma. She is a 5th grade at Gillette Road Middle School. Hannah is a repeat returner, so is a couple of our Math League people. And then in 1st place in MathCon this year was Aaliyah First, a 6th grader at Gillette Road Middle. While this group of students is standing up here, I wanted to specifically recognize one teacher. I already mentioned her today earlier, but I have a 4th grade teacher who does an outstanding job with MathCon, and she is absolutely the champion. Joe Andrews, can you come up here? I wanted to recognize Joe. If you participated or have ever had a student go through KWS BRE in MathCon, she actually invites all of the parents in for a parent night and walks them through exactly what their students are doing, videos all of her students and shows them why their students are loving MathCon, and then takes you through problems just like I shared with the Board of Education. Since we started this, Miss Andrews has really wanted to have jackets for all of her students. Now, I couldn't provide jackets for all of her students, but I did want to provide a jacket for Miss Andrews that says she is the Mathlete boss. So Yeah. So for all of you golfers in the room, if you've ever seen the Masters ceremony, this is like putting on the green jacket. So now she's the mathlete boss. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
And thank you all for being here. Really appreciate all the support that you give to your students, and they clearly are excited about math. I'm excited about math too. So just continue to encourage them. There will be more opportunities as they continue to go through their education. So thank you.
Okay, next we'll do our fire inspection report. So Darren, Mike, Matt.
Good evening, everyone. Just would like to introduce Nick Bonville. He's our health and safety officer here at North Syracuse, if you haven't met him yet. I just want to briefly give you an overview of our fire inspection for the 26-27 school year. And for those of you who haven't experienced the fire inspection schedule before, I'll kind of give you an overview of how it works. In 2023, the Manual for Fire and Building Safety Inspections in Public and Non-Public Schools was revised. This revision mandated that all buildings meeting the following criteria of nonconformances be re-inspected. The code violations are categorized as a 1, 2, and a 3. A 1 is a minor infraction for 1 point, and some examples of that are unapproved, like non-rated multi-plug adapters used in the walls, or storage rooms not maintaining 24 inches of clearance to the ceiling or 18 inches below if it's sprinklered. A 2 is a major violation with 2 points, and some examples are a means of express is not provided with emergency lighting. Sometimes the batteries do die in the emergency lights that we continually go and replace, or required fire doors not maintained in a normally closed position unless held open with an approved automatic device. If people prop doors open, that sort of thing, we always want the doors to completely close for fire safety. And a 3, which is a severe, is an example, the required capacity of means of egress is not free of obstruction, or doors not readily operable from the egress side without use of a key or special knowledge of how to operate the door. And it's totaled up as if the 1s and 2s is 10 points or less, then you have a 30-day certificate of occupancy. If the total of 1s and 2s is 11 points or more, there's no certificate of occupancy, and you have to do a re-inspection before you get your certificate of occupancy. And if you, any three at all in a building, you do not get a certificate of occupancy until the building has been inspected, and those have all been corrected. I am very pleased to announce that all the nonconformances noted during this year's fire inspections from February 16th, 2016 to April 1st, 2026 were completed and re-inspected where necessary. And we have received their certificates of occupancies for all the buildings, and we are set for the 26-27 school year. And one other great note, Roxborough Elementary did an excellent job this year. They only had one single violation, and it was only a 1-point violation. So they did a wonderful job, and my hat's off to the building and all the staff there for keeping an eye on things. That's the quick and short of it for me. Do you have any questions? Thank you so much.
Very much.
Appreciate everything, guys. Have a great night.
All right, now we'll turn it over to Mr. Keegan for our final budget presentation.
Good evening. So tonight, as Mike mentioned, this is our final budget presentation to the board for purposes of asking the board to consider this proposal and hopefully adopt the budget tonight. We'd like to start out though, just make sure. This is the agenda for tonight. Many of the same agenda items that you've seen in the past, but we'd like to talk a little bit about some of the investments that the district has made, which are very relevant to the budget process. And I'll turn it over to Dr. Ward for that part.
Great, thanks, Don. This is the part of the presentation where I get to share all the good news. So I appreciate that. But just a couple of highlights for our district this year that we're proud of. One being our focus on literacy, being our strategic planning goal, and the district's growth in ELA is 12 proficiency points, and the state average was 7. So that's averaging all of our 3 through 8 schools into that, but that's significant because it's hard to improve at a greater rate than the rest of the state, and we're doing that. So that's something to be proud of. And I think I mentioned a board meeting or two ago about Lakeshore Elementary having 23 points higher proficiency, and they were #1 in the region when it comes to raising ELA proficiency rates. So that's been amazing. And also, I do have some recent math data. It's not up there on the slide, but all of our district is averaging at a growth rate faster than New York State when it comes to 3 through 8 math as well. And that's something that we're proud of. So the other pieces are consistency with improving graduation rates. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe we've gone up a percentage point every year for the last 3 or 4 years. So that's something that's great. Increased student engagement in academics, arts, and athletics. We have high participation rates, and they continue to grow post-COVID when it comes to all of those things extracurricular. Continue to focus on student wellness and social emotional well-being. We still have many supports for our students. And then certainly, last but certainly not least, is creating a welcoming and affirming environment for all students, regardless of their backgrounds in our district. So that's the highlights in investing. As far as now facilities, that's the other side of our coin. CNS Auditorium, as you know, is complete. Enhancing student and community events, district-wide expansion of air-conditioned spaces that continues to go on with that work. As just a reminder, 8 out of 11 of our buildings are air-conditioned, and after about a year, we'll be at 10, right, out of 12, and we're on our way to 12 out of 12. So that's good news. And then ongoing safety and security upgrades, especially when it comes to entrances and things like that, that is happening throughout the district, and that'll be through the summer and into next school year. Just a couple of cool spaces. Obviously, this is CNS's auditorium. And there's Mary Poppins flying in it. And also for the fall, the piece that we're really excited about is getting our Lakeshore students back to Lakeshore Elementary School. So this is the not actual picture. This is a rendering because the siding has not, the facade has not gone up yet on the front of the building, but there are some awesome photos from within inside. And next, this year too, facilities wise, we're opening up our aquatic center. We had a construction meeting, was it this morning, yesterday morning, but that is on track on schedule. Athletic facility upgrades at Gillette. You'll start to see some major action over there, especially later this spring and then definitely into the summer. And then continued investment in modern student-centered learning environments, and that's really across the district. So facilities, we're doing really well. And so if you were at CNS now, you would see 3 sides of the building, not 4. This is the rendering for the 4th side there. And that's what you could see from our parking lot. And Don, off to you.
This, I thought it appropriate that maybe we recap what we've been working on with the budget process. Since it's a very busy slide, so I apologize for that. But as you can see, there's a lot up there. In December, we spent a lot of time looking at budget assumptions. In January, our buildings worked on their budgets and completed the building budgets. And we also in January received the governor's budget proposal and processed that. In February, we spent a lot of time looking at staffing and retirements and just understanding our scheduling and whatnot to make sure that we had the right people in the right place to support our instructional programs in the most fiscally responsible manner. And then in March, each of our departments, our directors completed their budgets. We finalized our tax cap. And then now we're proposing our budget tonight. And this month also, we completed our BOCES budget, which is a fairly large undertaking, a lot of people involved in the BOCES budget. And then as you see along the bottom, each month we've been doing monthly reporting on the budget throughout the budget season. A couple of additional pictures. Here's the ribbon cutting for the auditorium. And Mary Poppins again. We're so proud of that. We had to show it twice. So talking about, let's get into the budget and talk about our revenue considerations. So as of tonight, we don't have a New York State budget. And so just want to be very clear, we've made an estimate of what our state aid is going to be based on the latest information available from the New York State Education Department. And so that's a bit challenging. It's not our first time that we've had to propose a budget without having state aid finalized. But we hope and remain optimistic that we'll get some additional state aid. The second item there is our proposed tax cap. And I just want to emphasize, for the past 6 years, we were unable to cover inflation. I've got a slide I'm going to show you in detail about that. And the district's tax rate is historically low when compared to other central New York districts. Again, I've got a slide on that. Our proposed budget includes the use of $10.45 million of fund balance and reserves to balance this budget. And this is due to the limited information about state aid and actually the limited state aid. Just to be clear, this is not a sustainable method of balancing a budget using our savings accounts. And so we just have got to fix our revenue situation, hopefully with additional state aid. We have the final thought on this is we have requested additional funds from our legislature, and we're hopeful that we will receive those or hear about those in the next several weeks. This is our revenue budget. It's a $233.4 million budget with about a 4.2% increase in spending. Right now, we're assuming that we're only going to get about a 2.8% increase in state aid. And as you can see, we've increased the amount of usage in our general reserves there, the additional $1 million. So we're using, I quoted the $10,450,000. That's the fund balance usage of $7,450,000 and the general reserves of $3 million. We are getting a decent amount of building aid, slight decrease from last year, but we're getting a decent amount of building aid due to all the projects we have going right now. And our tax levy increase is about it's actually 5.25%. And so let me talk about that for a moment. This is the tax cap calculation the board has seen. In this calculation, we do not have a Micron pilot. So it's simply the 2%, that allowable levy growth factor. And the other big implication is the capital project. So you can see in that line that says tax levy for capital 2025-26, that $5 million. Well, now the tax levy for capital, you see that a couple lines down to 26-27 is about 7.8 million. So that's the biggest increase in our budget. So tax levy to increase due to support ongoing operations is only 2.4% of the 525. The local share of voter approved capital projects is about 2.7% this year. And those are the two big chunks that get us to the 525. Our estimated increase in tax on full value of a $200,000 home is about $169 a year. And I'd like to dissect that a little bit for you. And so again, a busy chart, but bear with me. So on this chart, it shows the last 6 years of tax levies going left to right. The gray bar is inflation. So you can see in the 21-22 year, we had 7.04%, and then 6.45 and 3.35, 2.89, 2.68, and 3.3. Those are the inflation numbers. And I want to just remind everybody that we can only pass 2% onto the taxpayers in terms of our tax cap. So then we looked at the levy for each of those years. So the green portion of the bar represents the levy increase excluding capital projects. The blue portion of the bar is the amount that relates to capital projects. So in 21-22, you can see that our green portion of the bar, that's just the operating budget, went up about 2.05%. The blue portion of the bar was about 1% for a total increase of 3.05. So again, I just want to point out the 2.05, the 277 working left to right, 252, 288, 261, and 255 are all less than inflation in each of those years. The blue bars, you can see they kind of bounce around a little bit. And when we do our capital projects, we often ask the taxpayers for something 1% or less. The average of those blue years is 1%. And so it feels like we're getting hit a lot in this 1 year, and we are, but just because of the nature of our capital projects, when things get put into production and some of the carrying costs, interest expense on those projects, but it'll all level out ultimately to something around a 1% increase. So when you look at this year's increase, it's mostly due to our capital projects. The other thing I mentioned is our relatively low tax rate. I don't name the districts here, but these are the larger districts in central New York. And our tax rate on true value is the lowest amongst our peers. And that's just an important thing to note when we have a year like this where we have a little higher than normal tax increase. That's the, before I move on, any questions on the tax levy or tax increase? Okay. And just again, final reminder, all the years since the tax levy cap was put in place in 2012, the district has stayed within the tax cap. Moving on to fund balance. So we started the year with a fund balance of about 3.76%, and we're going to end the year about 2.85%. So again, our fund balance is declining, and that's because we're using a lot of it in order to fund our budget. Same thing on reserves. We're starting the year. We at the end, we'll end this year, I should say, with a fund balance or a balance of reserves of 27.1 million. And I'm sorry, we started the year with 27.1. We'll end the year with about 26, and that's because we're using fund balance. And you can see where we've used it. Our ERS reserve went from 3.4 down to 2.5. Our TRS reserve is going to go from 3.7 down to 2.9. And our employee benefit reserve, you can see it's almost flat. The numbers in the green are the amount that we're planning on using to balance this year's budget that will be used during the 26-27 school year. So to put that in perspective, that ERS reserve, we're going to use 2 million of that 2.5. The employee benefit liability, we're going to use 1 million of that 4 million. So we're using a lot of our reserves. And again, it's not a sustainable process, but I think, I wanted to talk about this in connection with revenues because it's a big source of our revenues this year, fund balance and reserves. You just saw these kids here with Nick. Yeah. Now on our expenditure side of our budget. Again, it's a $233.4 million budget, a 4.2% increase in spending. And if you look at the salaries and wages, please know that our employees did not get a 7.2% increase in wages. The reason you see that increase budget year-over-year budget, we've had a lot of increases in our staff to support our students with special needs. And so we have a long list of positions that were added this year that weren't budgeted for. And just to be clear on that, we go through our annual review process and we determine what the needs of our students are in accordance with their IEP. And if the IEP says the child needs a one-to-one, we hire a one-to-one, whether it's in the budget or not. And so we've seen increases in our salaries and wages specifically related to that. Our benefits, we've really worked hard this year to trim our benefits budget, despite the fact that benefits are trending at about a 10% increase. We've worked really hard to keep that budget as tight as possible with about a 5.8% increase. The other area, contractual, 7% increase. This is kind of where inflation's hitting us. We're seeing a lot of just the compounded effect of inflation, and we've tried to make up for that wherever we can in other areas. But again, a total budget increase of about 4.2% on the expenditure side. Onto buses. We're once again asking for the standard amount of buses, and the reason we're doing that is it's actually a dozen buses. That's what we ask for every year. And we try to make a bus last about 10 years. I have to be honest with you, we're not quite getting there. Our average age of our fleet is over 10 years. And the reason we do the 10 years is that the frames on our buses will rust over time. It makes it, when we start to get over 10 years, you start to find that the buses, we have transmission and engine issues with them, and we really don't want to spend the money on those expensive repairs. So we are once again asking for 12 buses. It's to give you the specifics, it's 265 passenger buses, the gasoline buses with wheelchair lifts and air conditioning to support our students with special needs. We're asking for 8 standard buses. That's the traditional large school bus. And we're asking for 2 65 passenger buses with 100-gallon fuel tanks. And what that allows us to do is it allows us to take longer trips. Some of our sports trips, some of our fine arts trips are such that we need the larger gas tank, and it's beneficial for our drivers and certainly for our budget to not have to stop for gas outside the district. We buy gas at a very attractive rate, and we'd like to not have to gas up the buses on the road. Then we've got, again, just a few M&L vehicles that we'd like to purchase in connection with this vehicle proposition. Just want to note, we're not considering any electric buses at this time. We're still waiting to see what Albany decides to do in terms of that mandate. And we're also waiting for that technology to develop a little bit. We have applied through the state for a 2-year waiver, and we're in a little bit of a wait and see mode right now. Again, our girls soccer team had an amazing year, lost in the state finals, but made it all the way to the state finals. And then once again, we have nothing to do with the administration of the Salina Library, but we are really blessed to have the Salina Library adjacent to our Roxborough campus. It's just a great resource for students and families in that community. And we we are obligated by law to have the Salina Library proposition are on our propositions for voters to approve that are in the Salina area. They're asking for a 2.3% increase. That'll be on the ballot for those residents that live in Salina. Unified sports, something that we're super proud of. Again, when Dr. Ward talks about investments and being equitable and making everybody feel that they belong, we've really invested heavily in our unified sports and are very proud of it. In terms of polling, we are votes on Tuesday, May 19th. Voting will be here at the district office and at the Michael J. Bragman Stadium from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. We're encouraging folks to register, and they can contact Jill here in the district office for registration. And over the next 2 weeks, we'll have these online, and we're promoting them through Parent Square and other methods. Dr. Ward and I will be doing presentations next Tuesday and Thursday, and the following Tuesday and Thursday, 2 virtual and 2 in person. And then we'll have the public hearing here week before the vote. So that'll be another opportunity for people to hear about the budget. Any questions? Sure.
Don't go back to the slide on the vehicle bonding proposition. Usually there's a bullet on the tax levy or the amount it might be on a $200,000 home.
Yes.
Because it's very little. And I know this proposition is very supported by the committee, but I think if you add a bullet on there,
Sure,
I
I
don't
can do
know
that.
how much it is, but it's usually,
Pretty nominal.
yeah.
Yep. Thank you. That's good feedback.
I had a quick question.
Sure.
When a bus is taken out of service, what typically happens?
Yeah, so we have 2 options. We can trade a bus in with the bus company, or we can sell it on Auctions International. Either way, it's about the same amount of money. And I'm just going to say this too. What we do is when we finish with a bus, we go through that bus and we take the cameras off. We take anything off the bus we can use because we get so little for the buses. You know, over the years, it just seems like the dollar value of these old buses has declined. And so we're swapping out tires and cameras and anything we can take off the bus. And we're getting less than a couple $1,000s per bus. They're almost worth more for scrap by the time we're done with them. Those are our 2 choices. Lately, we've been doing the trade-ins.
That I made last month, and I'll make it again and again. Thank you to Dr. Ward, Dr. Baruti, Dr. Leahy, and Don Keegan. This has been a very difficult year, and you people are amazing. And I am personally happy that not one teacher will be laid off in this district, or teaching assistant, or anything. It's because of the work that you people did. I know you spent hours on this, and I'll be talking in a second at Legislative Committee about, what's happening, but thank you so much. It means to me personally, I know the rest of the board, you've worked very, very hard on this. Thank you.
We appreciate the board's support.
Thank you, Don.
But what time is the voting? Just what time?
6 to 9. Okay, now we'll move into our comments of the from the audience this evening. We do have one. Is Allison here? Oh, Allison, welcome. Just a reminder. And I know they've gone over all the, yes. Welcome.
Oh, can you guys hear me? Yeah. Perfect. At home, I don't even need this. I want one now. I'm here to speak about a matter that deserves urgent attention: the ongoing instability within our special needs classroom. I'm the mother of a sweet and loving little girl who is part of the special needs classroom at Roxborough Elementary, where she's been a student for the past 4 years. During that time, this classroom has had 5 different teachers, and across both the school year and summer programs, my daughter's experienced nearly 8 different teachers. This level of turnover is not just a staffing issue, it's a direct disruption to the education, growth, and well-being of some of our most valuable students. Consistency is not a luxury for these children, it's a necessity. Stability and familiarity with staff are crucial components of their ability to learn, communicate, and feel safe. When teachers change frequently, routines are broken, trust must be rebuilt, and progress is often lost. In many cases, this leads to regression academically, socially, and emotionally. Alongside this turnover, there have been many clear inconsistencies in communication and a lack of proper support for the educators stepping into these roles. Teachers are being placed into this highly demanding classroom without the tools, training, or preparation they need to be successful. And when teachers are not set up for success, our students are set up for failure. These children have voices. Some use words, some use devices, some use behaviors, but every one of them is communicating. It's our responsibility to ensure that they have proper tools, services, and trained staff that support that communication to help them be heard. A classroom like this requires consistency, frequent and transparent communication, and proper training. It requires a strong, certified teacher who understands the complexity of the role and is prepared to manage a heavy caseload. The TAs in this classroom have been remarkable through the many changes over the past 4 years. Most of the staff in this room have been here since the program began, providing a consistent presence and unwavering dedication to our students. They have continually put the children first and bring genuine care and passion to their work each day. We owe it to both the staff and the students in this classroom to ensure they have a stable, certified teacher who is committed for the long term, measured in years, not months. At the very least, we owe these children stability. We owe them qualified, supported educators, and we owe them an environment where they can grow, learn, and thrive.
Very much. Board committee reports, Mr. Thorne.
Thank you. The policy committee met last Tuesday and went to review 4 policies, 3 of which are on tonight's agenda. And I just wanted to publicly state my appreciation for Jason Clark's efforts in spearheading the new AI policy. That's one that's only going to grow in importance.
There might be more than 3 minutes. April 8th, the legislative committee met. We had a great presentation. By the way, there were a lot of people there. There were representatives from all of our legislators. There were students, and it was a big crowd. And Josh, sorry they're not here tonight, Josh and Paul did a phenomenal presentation on Tier 6. And as you know, that is really moving forward. Thankful to the people that went to Albany. And so it was a great presentation. We had a presentation from Wesley, from Canteen, because the Canteen is a place for students from the junior high and high school to attend after school, and it's just booming. Hundreds and hundreds of kids now are going on a daily basis. Jill, thanks to Jill and Lori Cook, we've started our GOTV, Get Out the Vote. And on your desk or on your table, each of you have 2 pieces of paper. Not everyone can make it on May 19th to the I know quite a few people on my street are very elderly, but they are very fit, want to vote. So there is a mail ballot application. This can go to anyone, 18 years old to 100 and whatever, and they need to get it in. And I believe it started yesterday or today. It has to be 30 days. Please, if you know someone, it's very easy to do. They mail it in or bring it into Jill and they get to vote. The other one is what we've had for years, the absentee ballot. And again, a fear of contracting COVID-19 is one of the things. So Jill will be sending a lot of these out because my godmother and others get an absentee ballot because of their medical condition. So a lot of these are going out in the mail. But if you know someone, please, every vote counts, is the way I feel. So as Don just does a wonderful job in a positive way. I'm very upset this year. I'm very upset because Dr. Cook talked to us the other night. Education has not even been talked about the last 2 months. We're going to get some money. Whether North Syracuse does, the 1% is not going to be 1%. They've all agreed to 2%. But because of other issues, this budget probably will not be passed. I'm hearing mid-May to late May. And the issues that they have, just part of the issues they have, is the climate leadership, car insurance, and housing. So not education. It just upsets me that they know, our legislators know, that we have to vote tonight. All 23 component school districts are meeting right now. From Cortland, Homer, North Syracuse are meeting now. We have to vote tonight. So I'm just disappointed, very disappointed. Want me to go into BOCES? Okay, another long one. All right. The other night, Michael and I attended the annual dinner of superintendents and board members. There were 60 in attendance at Cortlandville. I don't know if Michael's going to say anything, but I don't know if he went up for seconds or pastries or whatever, but he'll tell you, he comes to me. I won't tell you what you said to me, but anyway, tonight you will be voting. It's on the agenda. You will be voting on 2 things tonight. You will be voting on the administrative budget. This isn't the programs that we have, special ed or innovation tech or other programs. You're voting on the administrative budget, which is $11,722,448. North Syracuse will be paying this is what you're voting on, $345,877, which is based on our enrollment. Because our enrollment is the largest in ROCM BOCES, we have to pay that. So you're going to be voting on that. The other thing you will be voting on tonight are 3 candidates that will represent their districts on the 11-member BOCES board. The first candidate is Joan Reeves. Joan has been on the BOCES board for over 20 years, and she represents Beeville. Nick Blaney is the representative from Liverpool, and a new not young lady, but Jennifer Welch will be representing Marcellus. So you will be voting on those tonight. There were 2 ceremonies. I think you might be talking about one. Are you going to talk about one maybe? Okay. There were 2 national technical honor societies, just like we have at CNS and the junior high. We have one, and the first one was at the RC Arena at OCC. We had 32 CNS students get this award. Dr. Ward was there, and it's just a great program. The next night was at Cortlandville, because we have schools in Cortlandville, and they had a wonderful ceremony too. The last thing I want to talk about, it's very personal with me. Dr. Matthew Cook met with the board, and he will be retiring in December of 2026. Dr. Cook, unlike many superintendents, well, this board knows because he worked with us night in and night out, so we got to know him really well, except for the new board members. He has done, in the last 2 years, 7 superintendent searches. He is finishing his last one this week with Onondaga Central. He's just an amazing man. who started his life as an educator, not as a teacher, not as a principal, but as a social worker. Every day in his decisions, he thinks about those type of students that need the opportunities because they are a little different than the ones in a regular classroom. He is just an amazing man. He's been with us for 6 years. And I know Dr. Ward has worked with him, not only when he was a superintendent, but has worked with him for many, many years. His input, the programs that our kids are going, and each of you have a booklet. The rest of you got it at the legislative thing. Look at all the programs in that booklet. He led most of those. But just as Dr. Ward would say, it's a team effort, and his team is great. But the new programs that we have, and I know one student from North Syracuse in the EMT fire program. She gets on a bus every day from North Syracuse and goes to Chittenango because she loves that program. She's been doing it for 2 years. Heavy equipment. You ought to see some of our students that are doing these big trucks and stuff. They love that program. And next year, he's developing a program which I know some of our students are going to want, is veterinarian. What a great program. What a great program to get high school students in. So I know the majority of this board worked with him for months and knows the kind of person he is. And the way this will work is the commissioner will appoint a consultant, come in and work with us, and then we will go through the regular process that you do. But when we decide on 2 to 3 candidates, they are sent to Albany and they must be interviewed by the commissioner. And then she approves or doesn't approve, then it comes back to us. But thank you for listening to me. I know I talked a lot, but I think it's important for us to realize what he has done for BOCES.
Thank you, Bob.
I just want to mention a little bit about Dr. Cook as well, because yes, he's definitely an awesome BOCES superintendent, district superintendent, but he's a mentor to all of us in the region. So, many phone calls late at night sometimes to get advice or to brainstorm or problem solve with him, and he's always there. So I'm going to miss him. I've known him for over 15 years, and so hopefully we can, Bob, you got a big job of helping trying to fill that position. So thanks for mentioning him. And then I just wanted to dive in a little bit more into the data. Nick is sitting there, and I want to dive in a little bit more of the math data. So I mentioned it a little bit during the budget presentation, but in math, there was a 3% proficiency growth in math in New York State, and we had some schools really outperform that by quite a margin. I just want to mention some of them's Lakeshore was up 16% in math proficiency. Again, state average is 3%. Then we had Smith Road was up 6%. The one I really wanted to mention sometimes, because we talk about data with this elementary school, and sometimes we're talking about data that we need to work on, but certainly Roxborough Road Elementary School was up 11% in growth. So that's something to really be proud of, as a district. So overall, we were up about 7 percentage points an average of all of our buildings. And that's a hard thing to do, again, when you're growing faster than the rate of New York State. So kudos to everyone out there that had something to do with that. That's all I had.
Do we have any board comments? No, I'll just say that I had the opportunity to go to the junior high school talent show on Friday. Really a great time. Our students are incredibly talented, and I know I'm looking forward to the CNS Late Show in a couple of weeks. If we have no one else for board comments, Bridget, up to you.
So I was also going to talk about the junior high talent show. 4D always does such an amazing job with every production. Kudos to those kids. the amount of time and effort they put into every single show is incredible. And they have so much talent, performers, and everyone backstage. And congrats to CNS boys lacrosse, girls golf, and boys baseball, who all had wins last week. It's a great start for CNS spring sports for sure. And congratulations to all the Seal by Literacy participants competing or presenting at BOCES next week. Good luck, and I hope it goes well. Thank you.
Very much. Into routine action items, do I have a motion for item A, the consideration for the approval of the April 6th minutes? Mark? Andy, any questions? All those in favor? I'll group B and C together, the consideration and classification for students. Do I have a motion to approve those two items? Cheryl? Mark? Any questions? All those in favor? Next, we have the acknowledgement for the business office reports for February of 2026. Do I have a motion to acknowledge those? Mike? Any questions? Those in favor? And declaration of marketable and non-marketable surplus. Do I have a motion to those items? Yes. Yeah, Mark. All those in favor? Discussion action items. The first one we have is the recommendation to adopt the 2026-2027 school budget. This is a roll call, so do I have a motion to place this before us? Mark? Okay. Very much, and Don and everybody, thank you again for all of your hard work on this. Next we have is the approval of the 2026-2027 OCM BOCES administrative budget. Do I have a motion to place? Mike and Mandy? All those in favor? Yes, thank you. Second is the election of the OCM BOCES Board of Education members. Do I have a motion to place that before us? Mark? Mike? Question? All those in favor? Okay, and I'll abstain from that one as well. Thank you very much. Is the recommendation to amend the 2025-2026 district calendar. This is to add the day to extend Memorial Day weekend. So motion from Mark, second from Mandy. Any questions?
Mr. Thorne, this is only the second time I think that we've amended the calendar this year. We're getting better.
Amendment though. This
Oh.
is a good one to change.
This is one to celebrate for sure.
All those in favor? We have a gift this evening. We've had an anonymous gift of $5,000 that was received to the district from the Friends of the North Syracuse Early Education Program to benefit the North Syracuse Early Education Program. So I have a motion to accept with gratitude that gift. Carol and Mandy, any questions? All those in favor? And that's you. Have a motion to approve a consultant services agreement between the New York State School Boards Association and the North Syracuse Central School District. I have a motion to approve that agreement. Andy, any questions? All those in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. We have a resolution approving workers' compensation, section 32. Do I motion to approve that resolution as submitted? Mark? Questions? Couple of MO, or approve a memorandum of agreement of understanding between employee number 08074 for Syracuse Central School District and NSCA. Do I have a motion to approve that? Carol? Second one we have is a approval of a memorandum of understanding between employee 08584 North Syracuse Central School District and Mike, Mark. Any questions? Those in favor? One is to approve a memorandum of understanding between employees 08018 North Syracuse Central School. That one is submitted. Andy? Mike, any questions? All those in favor? Next, we have a resolution to create a specific position, which is going to be a 1.0 FTE systems consultant here at the district office. Motion to approve that specific position. And Mandy, any questions? Sure. The next three together, policy 7522, 7552, and 5840. Do I have a motion to? Mandy, any questions? Those in favor? Before we move into personnel, I'd like to acknowledge a retirement. We have Kimberly Kennedy, an elementary school teacher, is retiring with 31.3 years of service. So as always, we thank you for your dedication and commitment to our students, staff, community, and wish you a long, happy, and healthy retirement. Do we need an executive session before we move into items? I have a motion to accept personnel item A as submitted. Mark and Mandy, any questions? Those in favor? I have a motion to approve support staff B as submitted. Any questions? That is unanimous. Thank you. The personnel report C. Do I have a motion to approve that as submitted? Mark and Mike, any questions? Okay, all those in favor? At this time, I'd like to make a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of reviewing one personnel item with no action to follow. Do I have a second? Carol, any questions? All those in favor? Thank you.